Hi everybody, what you're looking at here is what they call a tree map graph. There's not much of a resemblance to a tree, but it is a relatively new graph type used in business. And for whatever reason, they came up with the name tree map. So whatever. What it involves though is taking and sectioning off different areas and kind of displaying the data. So what you'll notice on this one, we have a number of different zones or territories. We've got the Africas, the Americas, the Asia, and Euro here. And you can actually see those sections in here. And then you also see the product broken down into these different squares. So what this is all about is that overall, the amount of area that Asia, or that let's say America takes up versus what Asia, Euro, and Africa do is based on their totals here, all right? So the bigger their totals, the bigger these numbers are, the more area the rectangle takes up. So it's just a kind of different way of displaying. It's not like a pie or a line or a bar in this case. It's just the amount of area that's being taken up dictates that. So you've got the overall area, let's say, of the orange and the gray and the yellow and the blue area, but then you have the individual areas as well that make up that as well. So the bigger the number is for that particular product, the bigger area that you're going to have, and the smaller for the smaller, as you can see here. So you look at this one, this is like, what, 77,000, this is 32,000, all right? So we're going to end up creating three different tree maps with the data that we've got here. So to start out, we'll just go back over to my first one, which is going to be the zone tree, and you're going to see what we have here. Now, keep in mind that when you're doing this, that the data that you're going to be graphing, so let me just show you this over here. The data that we graphed over here was the zone, the product, and then also then the total, all right? Those are like the last three fields. So what you have to make sure of is that when you're creating this, that the data that you're going to be including in your tree map is the latter three fields that you see here. So that's what I have on this one. So we're going to create that exact one here, all right? So the deal is to have it where it looks like that, all right, is laid out that way. Now, the second thing is that that first field is kind of like your categorical type field, as you can see here, okay? And that needs to be made alphabetical. So if you don't have your data in alphabetical order, how do you make it that way? You click onto that particular column or field anywhere in there, you go to data, you click on your A to Z, and that will then sort it. I'll do the Z to A so you can see how it differs there. So there's your ascending or your descending, and here's your ascending, all right? All right, so anyway, what's the next step? The next step is we select the data to do something like this. We then go back into Insert. We go over to here in the chart area. We click on to Tree Map, and there you go. So we can take this. We really don't need to have the the legend in there, so we can actually click onto that and delete that right out of the bat there. Then we can take this, make it as big as you want, and there you go. You can go up to here and you can say, well, I want to put a title in. Maybe I'll call this one World, Sales by Zone or something like that, right? That's it. All right, so what else? Now, a few things we have to look at here. Number one, we have our different zones here, the America zone and so forth. And then we have, in this case, the three different products that were sold in that zone. Now, what I don't see right now are the totals over here. So what we need to do is kind of click into the area here. Let me just kind of scroll over a little bit there. We'll get our little elements button up there. We'll click onto that. We'll tell it that we want to do our data labels, which we already have. but we need to go in there and tell it that we need to have the values as well. So you click the values on there. Looks fine. Let's close that up. And there we go on that one. The other aspect here is maybe the coloring of the text. So if we click anywhere on any of the labels there, go back into the Home tab, we can make it bold, and we can also change the color. So maybe black would be fine. If that's too dark, you can always get a little bit more of a charcoal color here. Something like that. That looks good. All right. And then if you want to go a little bit further, you can actually go in there and maybe change the individual labels. Now the problem is if I click on to, let's say, this one here, everything gets selected. So what I'll do is I'll click onto another one, see, like that, and then I can go back to this one, and I now just have that individually, and then I can go back into my Home tab, maybe make this, bring this up to maybe about 11, all right? I can go there and I can change the color of the text. Maybe I want to make it kind of white or off-white. It's up to you. I'll make it a little off-white there. There we go. And then I can do the same thing with this one here. I'll click onto Asia, bring that one up to an 11. It's already bolded, and I'll hit the color here, and there we go on that one. Same thing here, click onto that, bring it to 11, do that one, and then finally with Africa, we'll go that one, we'll click and make it larger and change the color there. So that's it. What I did as well is I randomized the data. What you see here for the numbers, if you click on to any one of these things, you'll see that we've got a formula in there that kind of creates a random number between 30,000 and 80,000. And the reason why I did that was to kind of show you how this would change as your data changes, right? So I'm going to go on my keyboard and hit the F9 key, and that's the recalculate key. And when I do the recalculate, it'll redo the randomization of the numbering. So as I hit that F9 key, you can kind of see how it changes up there, see? Pretty cool. Just kind of gives you a sense of how things would change, if you were to go back in there later on and change, column F, if it maybe had some wrong numbers or something in there. So that works out pretty good. All right, so let's go now to our next example. And this one is going to be kind of broken down by category. So again, what we need to do here is make sure that's sorted, which it is. If you don't know, again, if you don't know how to do that, you would just click into this area here, click on the data, hit the A to Z, it's sorted. Now once you've done that, we'll go ahead and select that range. We'll go back into Insert. We'll click on to our button here for the tree map, and there's our new tree map. Now, another thing you can do with this is you can actually, instead of you maybe having to come up with your own coloring and so forth, you can actually have it apply different swatches of coloring. So initially what we can do here is we can go over here to the Design tab and go to the Change Colors, and as you hover over each of these, you can kind of get an idea of what that one will give you. So you've got the monochromatic ones here, and then you've got the colorful ones here. So totally up to you what you want to do with that. Once you've decided on one, you can just kind of click it, and that's it. The other thought as well would be the different styles here, okay? So the first style that you see listed here is the one that we're on already, so nothing will happen there. But as you hover over these other ones, you can kind of see how they change. That's not bad. Pretty cool. That's kind of interesting there. I kind of like that one. So we click on that. Oh, I don't know why it's not kicking in there. For some reason it's not. It's kind of goofy. All right, but normally that's all you'd have to do is go up there and kind of click on these and kind of change it. It seems like I may be having some issues with my computer here, but you get the idea. I mean, if you're doing this on your own computer, no problem. But again, I kind of like that look there. All right, so that's another thought there with all this. All right, now I want to go to the last one here, and on this one now is going to be kind of categorized by country. So we've got that all in alphabetical order as well. All right, so what we'll do is we'll go back in there and we'll just select our range again. Go back into Insert. Then we're going to go ahead and click on to the Hierarchy Chart button here, which is hiding then our tree map. We can take that and put that over there. Make this a little bit bigger. And again, when I click on one of the styles, it doesn't work, so I have no idea what's going on with that, but nonetheless. So actually what I just did through the miracles of video here, I actually paused the video and I restarted the program, and that seemed to do the trick with that problem. So let me go back to this one here. And we were kind of talking about, you know, changing the style. So I'll just click onto it like this, go back into the Design tab, right? And I can hover over the one I want. Now when I click it, look at that. It's stuck. All right, so it works. All right, so let me go back to this one again. So on this one, what I want to do is show you another little aspect that we can do with this. And that is, let's say we came across a particular style that we like. I'll just go and find one here. Let's say we do that one there. Okay. What you can also do then is click on to one of the pieces, or just click on to the area here. Go into Format. Go into our shape fill, this whole area here, and on the shape fill, we can actually go in there and we can actually just pick an overall just single color if you wanted to. That's one thing you can do. The other thing we can do is go in the outline area here, go over to the weight area, and watch what happens to these little dividers here as I go to the different thicknesses there. So you can actually find one that's, you know, relatively good, choose it, then you can actually go back in there and pick a color that you want that to be. So if you want to make it red, that's pretty bad, but some of the other colors you have here, maybe this one here, or maybe a green, darker green, whatever. You got all those in there as well. And then you can go to the shape effects, and we can go to, let's say, the soft edges, and we can click on to one of those. And we kind of saw that in one of the other videos. It doesn't look bad. And the other thing that's kind of left here is the fact it's not really showing the totals there. So what we had to do there is kind of move over just a little bit here, go back to the elements, go to our data labels, and do that, and tell it that we want to see the values. And whether or not you want to see them as a comma or you want to see them always maybe underneath each other, kind of like that, totally up to you. All right, so this was hopefully some help to you. Hopefully maybe you can use this back at work. But I appreciate you watching the video. Take care.